Good morning, friends. Happy 4th of July. Welcome, welcome. I actually pushed this live back by 15 minutes because we had such a dense fog that I couldn't even there was no light to go live, and I can't go live in my house because everyone's sleeping. But luckily it did break up and I have a little bit of light. So sorry the lighting is a little off, but there's at least some light that you can actually see me now. How is everybody? Good morning, good morning. Does anyone have we do have plans today. It's always weird when the 4th of July happens on a weekday, at least for me. But it just is what it is. But we're going to go down to my dad's, go play on the water, barbecue with a friend. Oh, I got to make some cornbread this morning. I think I'm going to make some honey cornbread in my cast iron to bring to the barbecue because I think that sounds good. I thought about, I have some brine left over from making cowboy candy. Thought about making some cornbread. That I tried it before and it was very underwhelming. But I don't know if it was like the recipe or that I used. I'd never done it before. I don't know. If you guys have ever tried that, let me know what you did or if you have any suggestions. I actually don't even remember how it turned out. I know I was very underwhelmed by it, which was disappointing because it's like the sweet and the spicy combo. And I think the way I used it, because I just added it to a regular cornbread recipe, and I just substituted like the cowboy candy brine I used in place of whatever liquid you're supposed to use in cornbread, but just didn't work out like I wanted it to. But I do make a honey cornbread in my cast iron, and it is very good. So I think maybe I'll do that. And I make it in a big cast iron so that it's a great thing to share and bring to a barbecue and things like that. Who doesn't love a good nice moist cornbread? We are supposed to get some storms today, and of course it's like the bulk of the day. Good morning, Emotion. Thank you so much for coming in. Happy 4th of July. What are you doing this morning? Do you have any plans for today? So we're supposed to get storms from like 2 to 6 today. And I'm like, that's like the main bulk of today. That would be a total bummer. But the way that weather moves in and out of here, we could get a storm at 2 And then by 3, it's blue skies again. So I'm hoping that that's the way that it works out today. Because that would stink if it rained all day. Getting ready for work on the 4th of July. That's a bummer. But I do know how that feels. Not today, obviously. Well, I guess every day is a work day for me because I'm stay at home, but going into work, that's totally different. But we had another like little outburst of storms yesterday, but I was able to get a bunch of beans planted in my garden. Succession sow some beans, a lot of beans. And I planted, I think, 4 different varieties of beans. No, maybe 5. One that I'd never grown before. I got them from Teresa at Always Gardening and Prepping. And they were Indian woman beans. I don't know. That's what she had them labeled as. I should look them up so that I know what they are, but I figured I'll throw them on the ground, see what pops up. And I got them in after the rain came because it just came out of nowhere. And it was straight down in sheets for probably 45 minutes. I am in East Tennessee, kind of in the middle of the triangle of Nashville. Oh my God, my cats. Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville. I'm within that triangle. I'm not super familiar with Tennessee, so I don't know where Antioch is. I'm from Illinois, and so we had an Antioch in Illinois. I know where that is. Antioch, Tennessee, I'm not familiar with. South of Nashville. Okay, cool. There's a lot of towns south of Nashville, but just not. I'm not familiar with them off the top of my head. Where do you work that you're working on a 4th of July? Everything's like shut down today. Or are you playing today? Is that what you're doing? That would make more sense to me. Duh. Oh, okay. Oh, Kroger's actually open today, huh? Interesting. I thought everything was closed. So while I was out, I had an interesting day yesterday. Really eventful. Not in a great way. While I was planting my beans yesterday, it was 4:30 in the afternoon, and middle of the day. I have 3 little boys, and the 2 littles were taking a nap, so I took my oldest outside with me, my dog, and I'm in my garden planting my beans. And what do I hear but a bear grunting off in the woods? And it was loud, and it let out like 4 or 5 grunts. And I live up on a mountain, or a ridge. Um, and every time I tell somebody where I live, they go, "Oh, you live up by those bears." And I'm like, "Why does everyone say that?" We don't have any bears up here. I talked to my neighbors who have lived here 26 years on one side and 16 years on the other side, and they swear up and down, we don't have any bears. The neighbor next to the neighbor that lived there for 26 years, I met him once and they're like, "Oh, have you seen the bear?" And I'm like, "No. What are you talking about?" They're like, "Oh, yeah, we got a bear." I told my two next door neighbors who lived there 26 years and 16 years, they're like, "We don't have any bear." I don't know what they're talking about. We got a bear. There was most definitely a bear off in the woods. And it wasn't that far away because I could hear it grunting. And like I heard it. Um I heard it and like I paused and I was like, "What was that a bear? Is that did I just hear a bear?" And I was like I was trying to like rationalize it in my head because I'm outside and with my kid and I'm like, "Did I just hear that? Was that a bear? No, that wasn't a bear." And then I thought to myself, I'm like, people, neighbor said that there was a bear. I swear that was a bear. I heard it with my own ears. If I think I heard it, I heard it. And I just dropped my seeds. And I was in the front yard and my son was in the backyard. And I dropped my seeds and I ran out of my garden. And I'm like, "Hunter, where are you?" Luckily, he was on the back porch where I'm sitting right now. And the dog was with him. And I was like, "Okay, let's go inside." And I didn't want to like freak him out or anything. But I was freaked out. And so I got him inside and I started like thinking about it and I'm like, that that was definitely a bear. And it was definitely close. So I started texting my neighbors. And I'm like, "Were you just outside?" Um and my two front neighbors, they were not outside. But then I have another neighbor, like catty cornered, and she has like 116 acres and she's got lots of animals and stuff like that. And I texted her and I was like, "Hey, I think I just heard a bear. Were you outside?" And she's super busy and she texted me back like 10 minutes later. She's like, "Yeah, I heard it too, but just now." And I was in the house. I wasn't still outside. Um, and I was like, "Oh, well, you heard it just now. Where did you hear it? Like, where did it sounded like to me that it came from over by her, but north of her, just by a little bit." And she goes, "It sounded like it was your guy's yard." And I was like, great." Yeah, scary. And I I protect my family and I protect my home, but oh, thank you so much for sharing it out. I appreciate that. You have a great day. I hope you have a nice 4th of July. Hope you don't have to work too hard and you get off early and you can actually enjoy your day too. I appreciate you for coming in. Um, I but I protect myself, I protect my family, and we live in the woods, and I carry a gun every time I'm outside, except I except for right now when I'm sitting on my back porch. Um, and I'm not out in my yard. But anytime I'm going out in my yard, I'm carrying because we live in the woods and we have trail cams. And I know we have big coyotes And I know that we have bobcat. I've seen them. We have a big bobcat with a big old butt. Oh my goodness, these cats are beating each other up down there. I didn't want to let them out because I didn't want them jumping all over my computer. And we have loose dogs. But now that I know, and I've heard with my own ears, that we have a bear. Nothing that I'm carrying is going to stop a bear. That was scary. Scary. But luckily, we did not. I didn't see it. It didn't come up into my yard. It stayed off in the woods. I mean, the only thing that we have protecting our animals is electric netting. And it's electrified. It would zap a bear. I don't know that would stop a hungry bear. But it would zap it. We've never had anything mess with our animals. We have 4 different electrified paddocks of animals. One for the turkeys, the little chicks, one for the big chicks, and then one for the pigs. And we've never had anything mess with our animals or test the fence that we know of. But that's also nature, living in nature, having a farm in nature. But it's an uncomfortable one. I was not about hanging out with that bear around. I was not about that. That was too much. A little too close for comfort, if you ask me. That was not a comfortable feeling. And I was not carrying at the time because I just ran out real fast. I was being lax. And I'm like, I'm just going to go plant these beans real fast. And it serves me right that I was like, oh, I don't need to protect myself or my family right now. I'm just going to go do this real fast. And then reality sinks in and it's like, you can never be lax. You can never be lax because you never know. The one time that you need to defend yourself is going to be the time when you're not prepared. It's just how it works out, right? When you're least expecting, when you least expect it is when you need it. But I've never actually talked about that, but I think that it's showed up in a couple of my videos. I've tried to edit around it because I know that a lot of people are not comfortable with guns, and I totally understand that. Not everybody is, but when I mean, most of the time when I'm filming, I'm outside in nature, surrounded by animals that can hurt me. So I'm always protecting myself, and you never know when the animal is going to try to abuse you. But hearing that bear was definitely a gut check and was definitely a reiteration that I have to be prepared all of the time. And I don't know, maybe I won't be hiding it as much as I normally do, because I don't want anyone to be uncomfortable with me carrying. Um, I'm not ashamed of it, and like I said, I do it to protect myself and my family and my animals if I'm, out around them too. But I just know it's a hot button issue for some people. But that was scary, and it was very real. And I definitely texted my neighbors, and I was like, especially the neighbors that said we don't have bears, and I was like, let me tell you, we do have bears because I heard it with my own ears. And you can live in good morning, Matt. You can live in ignorance and you can say we don't have bears, but we most definitely I we most definitely do have bear. And it was close. It was very close. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and absolutely, Devin. I mean, you never know what you're gonna come across, and a whole group of hogs can definitely do some damage, and you need to be prepared. And and anything that I'm carrying is not gonna stop a bear, but it's better than nothing. And I think it only showed up in one of my videos, the one when I'm making my garden beds. I think it snuck into that video just a little bit, but, um and my holster is, a conceal holster, and Mike and I have been talking about me getting a different holster that would actually carry it on the outside of my clothing, because it's really hard for women to carry a concealed weapon because women's clothing are not forgiving. And I don't need to conceal it. Tennessee is an open carry state. I just don't like to advertise to people that I'm carrying. Um, and it's also very not comfortable. I've gotten, because I carry it on the small of my back, and I've gotten some nasty, like, rub marks from my holster, and I'm like, this is not comfortable. I don't like this. So I think I'm gonna get an exterior holster, and maybe it'll show up more in videos, but I think if I'm outside carrying, it'll definitely show up in some videos, and hope that I don't upset too many people. So what do you guys have planned for your 4th of July? Um, Mike does have the day off, and we were like, well, we could do all this work or we could go have fun. And just about every weekend, we do lots of work when he's home because it's hard for me to get a lot of things done by myself with the kids. And so when he's home on the weekends, we try to like hustle and bustle and do as much as we can. But rarely do we break away to go have fun. And so my dad's like, "Are you guys gonna stay up on the mountain today, or are you gonna come down to the lake and have fun?" And I was like, "I think we need to go down and have some fun today." We put off some fireworks in our front yard. My dad bought some, and we just did a little fireworks show for the boys, but it was still light out because my kids cannot stay up at all for fireworks. Ooh, that's fun. Oh, for 2 weeks. And you stopped by my live? What are you doing? You're on a family vacation. Go have fun with your family. Ah. Ooh, fossil museum. That's interesting. Yeah, exactly, they're still asleep. That's why I do this when I do. I mean, I know it's so stinking early, but I can actually, for one, focus on talking to you guys, and just the only noise that I hear right now are the birds, the bees, the frogs that are in my pool. I thought that once we cleaned my pool, because when it was closed down for the winter, we knew we had frogs in there big time. They were living under that cover and making babies and making all kinds of noise. Um, but I thought, and the people that sold us this house did not close the pool very well. So it was like nice and swampy, like a perfect environment for these frogs. And I thought once we took off the cover, cleaned the pool, cleaned out all the algae, and put in chemicals and then started using it, like the frogs would leave. When we uncovered it, it was full of tadpoles. And the tadpoles literally died overnight. There was no sun, but just removing the cover was apparently enough to kill all the frogs or all the tadpoles. And also overnight, all the frogs disappeared. Um, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, good. That got rid of that problem." And then a week later, we heard one. And we were just in the pool with the boys this weekend having fun, and there were 8 frogs. 8 frogs in our pool. And they're, like, up above the liner, but below the rim of the pool. And they're just like, "You can't see me." And the boys are like, "I'm gonna poke it." I'm like, "Don't poke it. They'll jump on you, and you'll immediately regret that decision." There they came back. I can't believe they came back. I mean, we play in the pool, we turn on the pump. They're not scared away. I don't understand it. Not a single one of those 8 frogs jumped out of the pool all day that we were playing in it. I don't get it. Um, so what are you guys doing in upstate New York? What kinds of adventures are you getting into? I've been to New York only once, and it was Niagara Falls. I was there for gymnastics, a gymnastics competition when I was younger. Frog pond, huh? Interesting. That sounds like probably a lot of frogs. I think for a short time, my pool had more frogs than my pond did. Goofy. It's goofy. Ooh, private lake. That's fun. Yes, it's so peaceful. I love the sounds of all the nature sounds. It's good for the soul, for sure. Ooh, a ferry ride. That'll be your first one, huh? That's fun. It's fun to do new things and expose our kids to all the things. I love seeing their reactions to new things and the wonderment in their eyes. We haven't really gotten to fish all that much. Mike's parents were in town for Hunter's birthday, and we did a little bit of fishing when they were in town, but not much. And only his dad caught a fish, and it was a baby largemouth bass. So at least it was a bass. But nobody else caught anything. It's just one little bass like this big. My dad's his inlet is a fairly shallow inlet. It's deep enough to drive boats in and out of, like the docks and stuff like that, but he actually has zero depth up at, he's got like a beach inlet. And for some reason, his inlet is where the catfish come to die. where the bluegills spawn and the catfish come to die. He's had 2 catfish, and they were small catfish. So it's not like they were old, ancient, gigantic catfish, but he's had 2 catfish come and just slowly die of something. I don't know. And it's so shallow, you can just see them laying at the bottom. Oh, that's fun. Fire convention. That's interesting. Never heard of a fire convention. That's cool. Rail bike thing. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I bet the kids sleep good after that, huh? I love those kinds of adventures. It's like, as a parent, you're like, score 1 for me. 1, this is fun. 2, this is exercise. 3, you guys are going to sleep fantastic. And I'm going to get some silent time. I feel like that's one of those like funny parent things. You're a good parent and you get something out of it. Some silence. He just moved there 2 days ago. That's interesting. Cool. That's fun. Reconnecting with friends. It's so important to, as grown-ups, to reconnect with our friends and have meaningful relationships. And when you're a parent and things like that, those kinds of connections kind of fall to the wayside and you can lose those. But friendship and like good friendships are really important, and they're hard to maintain because you're just so busy and stuff. So I'm like preaching to the choir because I moved out of state away from all my friends. But we've done like the virtual chat stuff to keep in touch. But friendships are very important. Good morning, adventures with Outdoor Eagle from Jersey. Good morning. Happy 4th of July. What do you have going on today in Jersey? Isn't that funny? Some jobs you just click with people. I mean, I met my husband working, and I've only had one professional job in my life. I worked at the same place my entire career. Being a bum currently, but hey, you're drinking coffee. That's awesome. I'm waiting for my husband to wake up and make the coffee. I woke up early enough to get up on this live and drink a cup of water, but I didn't want to make coffee because I didn't want to wake everybody up. Plus, he's a better coffee maker than I am. These cats under me. I have my cats, so I'm sitting on my deck, and it's actually completely enclosed in, and we put little cat doors. We put one on the front and one on the back so that they can run through if, say, a raccoon or possum or something like there might be chasing them, or a fox. A fox is not going to fit through a cat door. A fat raccoon is not going to fit through their cat door. But if something is small enough that can fit through, they can go in one side and out the other. We actually don't have a automatic coffee. We do the pour over coffee, so it's like a 10-minute process of pouring hot water over our coffee grounds. We got rid of our automatic coffee maker, and then we had a Keurig, and we sold that when we moved. Keurig cups are freaking expensive, and we did not find any that we really liked. So we're like, why are we paying for this stuff? Definitely. Yeah, I know. Oy vey. Yeah, my dad was telling me the other day, he's like, if you could show the previous owners all of what you did. And I was like, yeah, but we haven't, like, yeah, we've done a lot. And we've got all these animals and these gardens and stuff like that. But the previous owners, they put up the house, They put up the sheds, they put up the tiny house. Like, this was vacant land. They put in the driveway. Like, everything that you see, they put up. I just put up some gardens and got some animals. And wow, that is a lot of work. A lot of work. I feel like doing what they did was a lot harder than what we have done. But yes, I have done a lot. I have done a lot. Yes, absolutely. I I I do miss the convenience of just like a push button. I can set it at night, and in the morning my cup of joe is ready for me. But on weekdays, usually my cup of coffee is already ready for me, because when Mike gets up for work, he makes the coffee before he goes to work. He makes my coffee and then puts like aluminum foil over. He like puts it in my Yeti and then puts aluminum foil over it for me, so it's still warm when I wake up. So it's like having a push button. don't tell him I said that. But I'm spoiled in that respect. My coffee is always ready for me when I wake up, except for today because I'm letting him sleep. But he's our coffee snob for sure. He's much more picky. And then we have a somewhat fancy Breville, like espresso, cappuccino, a fancy coffee maker. Oh my goodness. Boys, stop fighting. Little brats. Who would have thought? Hey, he's got to be making me something. I'm making all the food. Wow, it just got a lot. My screen just got a lot brighter. Oh, that's because the that's not sun moving in. That's fog, and the reflection off the fog is making it uber bright. Woo! Yeah, that the fog is rolling in. I'm sure I'm gonna get probably fogged over here in a couple minutes. It can get really thick up here. But yes, we have blown up, and I've been working on trying to get myself to video all the updates that I have to show you guys. And I just run out of steam. Vacation. What's a vacation? No, we're not going on a vacation. The only vacation that vacation that we are going on is we're going to Wisconsin for Mike's cousin's wedding. So that'll be a vacation. That'll be the most vacation that we're going to go on this year. We do planned. I'll say planned. It's planned in my head. Nothing's been actually booked, but our 10-year wedding anniversary is in 3 years. And so I want to go to Greece. So I think we're going to plan a trip, just Mike and I, for our 10-year anniversary to Greece. And I was like, it's 3 years away. We can save and penny pinch and just squirrel away all this money so that we can go for the next 3 years so we can go to Greece. But I'm like, if we don't plan it now, we're going to come up with a million reasons why we can't go. And then I think in 2 years, we're going to take our kids to Disney. because then the baby will be 3 and Hunter will still be young enough. He'll be 9. He'll still be young enough to really enjoy Disney. When I went to Disney, I was 12. And I was kind of, at that age where you're too cool for school or you're getting to be too cool for school. I still enjoyed like the Disney things, but I was a little too old. I think at 9, he'll be good. And he'll still have tons of fun. So I think in 2 years we're going to go to Disney. In 3 years we're going to go to Greece. But vacation? What's that? Camping on your property could be one. My son wants to camp in our yard, but like I was saying earlier, oh no, Devin. 5 years to go to Disney. Don't say things like that. It's going to happen. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to have to take all the grandparents. Mike's parents are very big with Disney. It'll be a family vacation. I know Disney's expensive, but I'm going to bring the grandparents. So that'll help. And we have to do it. You have to do it like once, right? Because Devin, you regret it, right? You gotta do it. You just gotta do it. But yeah, Hunter's my oldest wanted to camp, and I'm like, baby, I don't want to. Exactly. Spoil those grandkids. You go right ahead and spend your money. So I don't have to. And we have all this stuff to go camping, but I don't want to have to sleep with a gun next to me because I'm afraid of what might come after us. Our yard is not fenced, and now that I know we have bear, I really don't want to camp in my yard. I don't know that we'll be camping here. Eagle Scout, very nice. Mike is an Eagle Scout too. Mike is an Eagle Scout. He went through the whole thing, but we kid. So Mike is the oldest of 3 boys, and all 3 of them are Eagle Scouts. Hey, happy 4th of July, Tiffany. Welcome in. Well, I'm sure there probably is, but yesterday I heard a bear grunting while I was in my garden, and it was very close. And they're Eagle Scouts. We joke that his mom is an Eagle Scout 3 times over. Their mom did all the work for all 3 of those boys to be Eagle Scouts. I don't really know what goes into being an Eagle Scout. I was never like a brownie or a daisy or whatever the girl equivalent. I didn't do any of that stuff. I was in sports. But I know it's a lot of work. And Mike's like, yeah, my mom's an Eagle Scout 3 times over. We didn't do any of the stuff that we needed to do. So they're not really Eagle Scouts. And if any of them were dumped off in the woods, Mike would be the only one to survive. And just barely. So they're not really Eagle Scouts. Yeah. Well, it's good. Your parents should be there for moral support. The kids should do all the work. That's just not how my mother-in-law did things. Uh, yeah, that's funny. Sure it is. Like I said, they don't if you met them, 'em, you'd never know that they were Eagle Scouts. I love them, but there's nothing wilderness about them. Ah, something that their parents made them do, and they made it through, just barely, just to say that they could. But anyone that truly is an Eagle Scout, that's awesome. Uh, and yeah, there bears in residential areas around here that happens quite a bit. Yes, they actually live in the city of Chicago. They live on the south side of Chicago, so they are very much city dwellers. But anyway, oh, Tiffany said she'll be right back. No problem. So what else is going on out there? Well, I've already done a lot, man. All we had was grass. I planted 17 trees, 9 bushes, an asparagus patch. I tilled up my front yard and made a garden. I built garden beds, bought a bunch of animals. I've pretty much done everything that I plan on doing this year. The last thing that we have to do, so I made a goals video, right? Who pays attention? I made a goals video. And we've done just about everything on that goals video. The last thing that we have to complete is our deer hunting. That's the last thing that we have to tackle. But obviously, deer season is not until September. And our deer season is weird. It's weird. So it actually starts in August. And boy, we got a lot of deer, which is awesome. But we moved here during hunting season. We got our property during hunting season. And we did not see very many deer. And Mike tried to hunt, but we didn't have anything set up. Our woods were too thick for him to put up or easily put up any stands or anything like that. So he was like gorilla hunting on a folding chair in in our on like the edge of our woods, hoping that something would come out like into because there's like a path our woods where our pond is that we know that they frequent. Um, yeah, it's also, like, accountability, right? So, those are the things that I really wanted to do, but then making it a video and, like, putting it out on the web and saying to other people, "I'm gonna do this," makes you do these things. Uh, um, what makes it a little easier for you to save for Disney? I spent all my money on my farm. Mm, see? Exactly. Accountability. So, bow hunting is obviously much more difficult. I suggest that you practice a lot. Um, Mike was lucky enough to Oh, sure. Yeah, but and when you first move to a place and you first start everything, that's when you have, like, the biggest investment of money because it takes all the money to start all the things for the infrastructure and blah, 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 blah. So, hopefully, as years go on, it won't be as expensive. Kids are still sleeping, that's awesome. Um, but hey, Jason, what's going on? Happy 4th. Good morning. Um, but I was gonna say something and I don't remember what it was. Oh, Mike was lucky enough to get my great uncle's bow, which is a great bow, and he used it a lot. But he's like 81, 82 now, and he just doesn't have the strength to do it. And his son is not a hunter; he's not interested, so he passed it on to Mike. But he actually started with a crossbow, and he really liked that because he had no experience. His family's not hunters or anything like that. Um, so he didn't grow up around this stuff. And with a crossbow, he had more control. It's obviously easier to use, and he got really comfortable with using a bow with a crossbow. Um, so that might be something that you might want to look into. Um, and you can get some pretty decent crossbows for not super expensive. Um, but yeah, bow hunting, you need a lot of practice. Mike needs to start practicing. On Sunday, he spent most of the day clearing his hunting spot. Um, basically where he a little bit very close to where he was gorilla hunting is where he ended up making a kind of like deer plot. We have a salt lick out there. He cleared some trees. He found a tree that he wants to put um, his stand in, and he cleared the trees around it, put out the salt lick. We put our trail cam there. It's working great. We have one herd of bucks that lives here and one herd of does with babies. I've seen a single fawn with a doe, and I don't know if I've seen the same doe with the same fawn, but our doe herd is 5. Usually it's 4. It's like a strong herd of 4, and then sometimes there's a 5th one. Um, and I don't know if I'm seeing the same uh, doe with her single fawn, but then Mike saw a doe with twin fawns. I haven't seen the twins, but he came running and he's like, "We have twins!" Or he caught it on our trail cam. He saw the twins on the trail cam. And then our buck herd is 4. And one of them is very nice. I think they're almost all atypicals, which is really cool. You know, I'm not trying to do anything necessarily. I do these early mornings because I have little kids, and this is when I can get on and actually focus. So yes, right now, early mornings is where what I'm trying to do. And getting on a live is a lot easier than me lugging around my camera and taking videos and editing. I just don't have the time for that right now. That's kind of where I'm at. But the 2 herds that we have are very exciting to see. And we haven't planted anything yet. Yeah, exactly, right? With kids, there's not a lot to focus on anything. So, I try to do this in the morning. But the plan is to make a food plot for them. We gotta plant that out really soon so it can get a chance to start growing. But what I was telling you about our season is really weird. Um, it starts in August. There's like 3 days, the last 3 days of August, you can hunt, but only antlered deer for 3 days in August. Then it really starts in September, and I think that's antlerless and antlered deer. And then there's like a 2-day gap, and then it goes back to only antlerless deer. And then that's in October where there's like a 2-day stop and then it picks back up. And then that's awesome, Devin. Good luck fishing. Have a great vacation. I hope you have a great day. Make a video. It'll be great. Good morning, Ashley. You made it. I don't know what was going on with my lives, why they were set to private. I don't know. Good morning, Shirley. Thanks for coming in. But yeah, it's like a really weird season, and they dictate when you can take antlered and antlerless. And it's weird. I don't know why it's so regimented. And then it goes up till January or February, but it's goofy. And we're hunting on our land. So really it's just if we take an antlered or antlerless when it's supposed to be antlered. Will anybody know? I don't know. What are farm tags? I don't know what those are. Bye, Devin. I do have 2 neighbors that don't like hunting. But we're rifle hunting. Well, and that's the other thing, there's archery season and then there's rifle season. And we're not rifle hunting because our neighbors are too close for rifle hunting here. It's only bow hunting, so. Oh, okay. I mean, That'd be kind of fibbing too. They're not really a nuisance. They're not doing anything to my land. uh, Happy Freedom Day. Amen. I am, for those of you that just came in, I was out in my garden yesterday at 4:30 in the afternoon, and I heard a bear while I was planting, and my oldest was out with me. Oh, there's a turkey in with my chickens. You pain. Ugh. Animals. Yeah. The appearance. There. Yeah. Put the flock, exactly. It was too close for comfort. I literally dropped my seeds and I ran, and luckily Hunter was up on the deck with the dog, and I was like, "Hey guys, let's go inside right now." I was not prepared because I just planned on, the little ones were sleeping. I was just going to run out and plant a couple of bean seeds. And it was the heat of the day too, so I didn't plan on being out for long. So I was not carrying. I was not prepared to protect myself or my child. So I was like, okay, we're going inside right now. Persons hunting without a license under residential farmland. I don't think anyone's gonna really mess with us. My one neighbor's like, "I love that you guys hunt. You know, we got so many deer around here. If it comes on our land, you're more than welcome to come on our land and get it. Don't even have to ask, just go get it." I was like, "Well, thank you." Oh, we have. But one thing that we've noticed about Tennessee is that they're not very good at explaining things or giving details, like whoever does like their website stuff, and they just, yes, it's very foggy. I had to put off this live this morning by 15 minutes because it was so foggy that there was zero sunlight coming through. So I didn't even have enough backlight to go live at 6 o'clock this morning. And if you talk to any of the local farmers, they're like, do whatever you want. Nobody cares. But our one concern, I don't care that the one neighbor doesn't like hunting. He shoots at snakes in his yard. So, and I don't say anything to him. But our other neighbor that doesn't like hunting, that's where a big herd of deer live. And her woods are connected to my woods. And there's a likelihood that if he was to shoot one, that it would go to her land. And we did look up our rules and regs, and it is lawful to retrieve your animal. You can go on anyone's property to retrieve your animal, and that is totally legal. Yes, undetailed information. Very. It's like they have a million hunting licenses, or you can just buy one hunting license and you can take whatever you want. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, why would someone actually go through and buy a rabbit license, a deer license, a skunk license? I mean, like, they have literally a license for everything, or you can just buy a sportsman's license and you can take whatever you want. It's goofy. But yeah, other than they just don't give a lot of detail in anything. But it does say that you can go retrieve your animal, but people are crazy. And it says that you don't have to tell the homeowner, you can just go retrieve your animal. And I'm like, well, people are crazy. I don't need anyone shooting at my husband. Well, the guy that shoots the snakes, he lives on 1 acre in the middle of he's in my front neighbor and then me, and we totally encompass him. Good morning, boys. Everybody's awake? Good morning, baby. Hi. I'll be in a second. I'm going to get off. He hates wilderness. He hates snakes. Hence, he's always shooting them. He hates birds. He hates leaves. Every time it rains, he's out with a leaf blower drying off his deck to blow all the leaves off. And we're like, why did you move here? Why did you move here? You literally live in the middle of woods. You don't like birds. You don't like insects. You don't like snakes. You don't like anything. And my neighbor in front of us raised some cattle for her own. She raised 2 cows for her own meat. And then our neighbors right over here, they have like 200 acres and they have 120 head of cattle, and they've been there for some years. Like, you literally bought land in the middle of woods surrounded by cattle. Why? Don't live here. I don't understand. No, he doesn't eat the snakes. He's terrified of them. And so he just shoots at them. Oh, hey, Rebecca. Good morning. Well, I know why they offer the licenses, but who would be silly enough to buy that many different licenses? I don't know. Yes, I told you, my coffee man. It's probably hotter than heck. I should probably open it up. It smells delicious, though. I've been waiting for this. Yep, hotter than. Yeah, I don't know why people move out here that don't like things like that. I don't know where he found that, but that's what it said. That's funny. Yes. The sound of freedom. Interesting. So he told my neighbor in front of me, who's also in front of him, her pond is what brings the snakes, even though I have a pond. There's creeks all over here. I've never once seen a snake. And we have a creek down there. We have a creek back here. We have a creek over there. We have a pond over there. We have a pond over there. Like, we have water all over here. And I haven't seen a single snake. I know they're out there, but I haven't seen any. He lives on 1 acre. And he has all these snakes, apparently. He said that the flies are coming because she had cows. The flies are coming from the cow poop. A big snake living under your house? Yeah, exactly. Lifetime sportsman. Be done with it. Birds are making all kinds of crazy noise over there. Uh-oh. I think someone's stuck in a net. Ugh. Well, yes, I know. No trespassing. Absolutely. It's probably a rat snake, right? Big black snake. Aren't those usually rat snakes? I don't know much about snakes. I hate snakes. Um, um, mm-mm. I don't do snakes. And I don't like spiders either. And I saw one that was like this big and it looked like a tarantula. I can't remember. Oh, it was I think it was called a trapdoor spider. It's like a cousin to a tarantula. It was super shiny and it was out by my bees. And you ladies will know what I'm talking about. I thought it was a claw clip. It was so shiny and it was so big. And it was like right by my feet when I was out by my bees. And I'm like, did some where did this claw clip come from? And I got really close. It was a gigantic, shiny black spider. I did not like it. Yes, just not crawling on me. Like, I respect spiders, but please stay away from me. I respect snakes too. Just please stay away from me. I respect all the things. It's cool that we have a bear. We do live in nature. Just please stay away from my farm. Stay away from my family. Stay away from my animals. I just have a healthy respect for them. Just don't like them. Yeah, I'm totally game with nature doing nature, and the snakes can kill all the things. Just mm-mm, stay away. A baby bear made the news. That's dangerous. Mama bear can't be far behind. That's the scary part with a baby bear, is the mama bear. Used to play with spiders as a kid? Shirley, you crazy? Weird kid. I wouldn't even know how to begin to cook snake. And if I heard a rattlesnake, which supposedly we have up here, I wouldn't even know what to do. Rat snakes and king snakes, yeah, those are supposedly the good snakes to have. I've only seen garter snakes, like, real little. I know they get bigger, but I've only seen them when they were really tiny. Probably because 'cause they're dumb and easy, when they're young, they come out more. Um, as long as it stays a mile away from you. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna jump off here, the family's awake, I think I have to go get a turkey out of my net over there. I think the chickens tried to chase it back and it got stuck in the netting. Um Well, hey, if he's gonna cook it up for you, then you don't have to worry about it. No, I'm what do you want me to do? Carry a laptop? Plus, I wouldn't get reception out there, I don't think. I think I'd lose it past my driveway. I would love to take you with me, but it just is not going to happen. Um, they're little chicks. I'm not afraid of them yet. I squared up with my roosters yesterday. They really irked me. I started screaming at them yesterday. The 2 in the front, the big boys. I think I have a lot more roosters back there, but they're still little and they're still terrified of me, so I'm okay with them. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your 4th of July. Thank you guys so much for coming by, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye, all.